Good morning. Good morning. This is exciting. Pam! Oh my gosh, what a great surprise.
Hey.
Hi. Wow. Well, good morning to Wake Up Wednesday. This is so exciting. I am here at the Jersey Shore, first time ever. I'm here with Eva, who is out on her back deck, so I can sit in her kitchen and do this. But who's here for the first time? Anybody here for the first time? Okay. Pam, give us an update. Are you saving turtles in Florida? We haven't seen you in months. How are you?
Oh, I've been on all my side quests and moving across the country millions of different times, but yes to saving sea turtles and loving that. And I'm finally settled enough to get my business going again. So I'm back to work and
Super
to
excited.
be here.
Oh, I'm so
I've
glad
been
you're
missing
here.
y'all.
We miss you too. Absolutely, we miss you.
Sorry, I'm getting ready for a meeting, so just ignore me.
We'll ignore you, but I just wanted to say we're glad you're here and glad you're back. We'll have to catch up because I think
Yes,
you're on the same coast as me now in Florida, but it's like eight
yes,
hours away, but we'll figure it out.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, who else? Anybody here? Let's see. Barry, how are you? Let's get you unmuted.
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing fabulous. So glad you're here today. Tell us what
Thank
town
you.
you're in. I forget where you're from.
I live in Herndon, Virginia.
Herndon, Virginia. That's right. Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. Steven's here. Bill Lowry's here. My trusted Evelyn McDonald. She's our loan person, our mortgage officer. She's been doing this for 4 years with me. She gets up at 6 a.m. out in California and does this. We love it. So it is summer, and we are having our another great guest. So in the summertime, I get the opportunity, and there's still some builds going on, guys. There's one in Boston. If you haven't been to one yet in September, but I get the great opportunity to meet all these amazing speakers. And the first thing I do is run up to them and say, "Oh my God, you're so cool. I loved what you said. Would you please be on Wake Up Wednesday?" And of course, I like kind of tackled Wayne and said, "Please come on Wake Up Wednesday," because he rocked it on stage. And I say this every week. We have the most amazing guests. And I just try to bring enthusiasm, energy, great talking points for you, something you can walk away with. And you're going to want to get out a piece of paper and pencil because seriously, this dude had us in Dallas on our feet. He was amazing. So, Wayne, I'm going to try and say your last name. I said to him in the beginning, "How do I say your last name?" He said, "Just say it any way you want." Salamans, did I do it right? You're muted.
Sure, close enough. We're good. Yes, that's fine.
So we're so excited to have you here on Wake Up Wednesday. We are over 4 years now, three retreats. This is the cool thing, and I love this with you guys with EXP in general. We get to do our passion and we get to do it anywhere. I mean, you know me, it's like, where in the world is Peggy doing Wake Up Wednesday from today? So, as I said, I'm super excited to be at the Jersey Shore for the first time in my life. Eva's out there in her backyard. She's hosting me for a couple of days. Eva Jean would say, "Be very careful. I may not leave." A lot of you know that.
I've
But
heard, I've heard.
yeah, so we want to get this party started. Wayne, I want you to brag on yourself. This is your opportunity. We want to know everything about you, the down, the dirty, the good, the bad. Tell us how you got here and what you're doing and where you're from.
Man, that's quite the introduction. I feel like I'm 7.5 feet tall now, so
You
thank
are.
you. I was born at a young age. Born in Kansas, and then grew up in Canada, and then spent 10 years in Alaska, and now I live in great old Dallas, Texas. So
Yep.
where we met. Um, I was a real estate agent for many years. I did really well in that, and yet one of the I've had a couple big turning points in my life, and one of them was about 16 years ago when. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced where the outside looks really good and the inside is a mess. And that's where I was at. My outside looked great. I was selling houses. I had 3.5 kids. Right? I looked like the person involved in my community, everything else. And yet on the inside, I was a wreck. I didn't feel like I was worthy of my success. I didn't feel lovable, all those kinds of things, to the point where I basically self-destructed my entire life. I had an affair. I screwed up my business. I screwed up my life, to the point where I remember laying on a floor at the time in Alaska in a vacant building, getting ready to take my life, and laying there getting ready to take my life. And what hit me was nobody was coming to save me. And it wasn't that people didn't love me or care about me. It's just like nobody is going to show up on a white horse. Nobody's coming to save you. And it was like I had this clear, I call it a God moment. But a moment where it became very clear, like you either check out or you've got to be your own hero. Like you've got to stand up for you in a sense. And I'm very grateful for that moment because I truly believe in that moment that everyone would be better off if I just checked out. Like it's hard to think about now, but I mean, I have 5 kids. And I remember laying there thinking they'll actually be way better off if I just check out. And thinking about that now, it's hard to wrap my mind around that now, but in that moment, it felt so true. It felt so like I'm doing everyone a favor by just getting out of the way. And looking back, that wrecks my heart to think about for too long. But in that moment, it felt very real. And yet it was like, okay, maybe I can. I remember telling myself, maybe even if it takes 20 years to get back up, maybe it'll be worth it. Even if maybe I could do it in 15, right? Like, and then I led me on a mission. You know, we have lots of conversations with God during those dark times. And one of my conversations with God was, if I can figure out how to get back up, I'm going to spend a good part of my life helping other people see their own greatness and then figure out how to tap into that and how to get back up. So I'm on a mission to expose people to their own greatness and then give them the tools and the skills to be able to tap into that. So that's the short version of why I'm here now. So I ended up selling my real estate business and went on the road and taught. Some of you have heard of Bold. I was a Bold coach for many years in airplanes every single day of the week. I loved it. It was amazing. And I didn't want to get in a plane for about 3 years after that. But anyway, I've recovered now. So now I live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm a single dad to my 5 amazing kids, and I get to help founders and leaders. A lot of them go from 6 figures to a consistent 7 figures and actually love their life along the way. So that's the short version.
Tell us your daughter's names and their ages. I think that's so important.
So I have so my oldest son is 20. He's deployed right now, and then I have an 18-year-old who just started college this week, a 16-year-old daughter who's in high school, a 13-year-old who is in 8th grade, and then a 10-year-old daughter who is in 5th grade.
That's amazing. So you are the quintessential girl dad.
I'm all in. I'm all in. Absolutely. Yes.
And you do this and you run a business. And I
Absolutely.
just want to say, and I said this in Dallas when I first heard your story, we're so grateful that you decided to listen to God, the word, whatever, people want to call it, and that intuition. And you realized that you are so important and you had so much to give. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. So, okay, what do we need to know? Let's get going here and give us what you got.
Yeah, and there are 3 things that kind of dropped in my mind as I was thinking about this morning. And I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for having me, by the way. If I didn't say that, I'm excited. This is great. She said I've been doing this for 4 years. I was like, wow, you had 4 years of guests before you came to me. That is a long. I mean, how low on the list was I, Peggy? I mean that's pretty far down the list. But anyway, very grateful to finally make it to the show. No, I'm joking. I'm totally giving you a hard time, but I love you very much. So here's a couple things to think about. First off, I think that a lot of us in business right now, would you all agree this is not the easiest time in business, right? We've all seen probably easier times. It's maybe not the worst time for some of us, but maybe not the best time. And I think right now, there's going to be 3 kinds of people. And there's going to be, you know, accusers and excusers. Those are the first two times. There's a lot of people that are accusing and accusing, you know, the market, accusing the government, accusing, and then a lot of other people that are using those to excuse, you know, it's AI, it's this, it's that sort of, you know. So there's a lot of accusers, a lot of excusers, and then the last one, obviously, everyone that is here, you know, we are the choosers, and the ones that are choosing to make this great. And make this a phenomenal time in our life. And you know, I thought about this as I was getting ready. There's really there's 4 or 5 ways if you really do want to mess up your year. Let me give you like the 5 best ways to just totally implode it. So if you want to totally screw up this year, let me give you the 5 best ways to do that. Peggy's like, this is why it took me 4 years. All right, so let me give you the five best ways to totally screw your life up or screw this year up. So the first one is kind of, we just talked about, is resentment and resistance. And I see so many people right now that are stuck in this pattern or the cycle of resistance and resentment. They're resisting what's happening in the market. They're resenting what's going on. They're resenting that we've been talking about rates coming down for 6 years or whatever it's been, right? Resisting what's happening with. I mean, if you filled up with gas this morning, dear sweet baby, right, it is not getting much cheaper, right? But there's a lot of people that are in resistance and resentment, and I'll tell you what. It is one of the most phenomenal ways to stay stuck, is stay in that place of resistance and resentment. And it's easy to slip into, resenting that, buyers have a lot of time to think right now, right? There's not a lot of urgency for some of them, all these different things. But am I going to resist and resent, or am I going to choose? And I think that right now there are opportunities out there, if you go and you look for them. So the first way to mess up is resistance and resentment. Second way is kind of in alignment with that. And the second way is avoid tough conversations. If you really want to screw this year up, avoid tough conversations. And I think there's 3 levels of those. And this applies to all of us on here, because I think all of you are leaders in one way or the other. And there's three levels of conversations that a lot of us are avoiding or can avoid. It's funny. I teach a lot of tough conversation classes, and I find there's 2 kinds of people. There's people that struggle with tough conversations, and then there's jerks. Right. So most right. We've all met the jerks. Like, I'm just telling you how it is. Like, I think you're just a jerk. Right. Love you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But most of us can get better at tough conversations. But there's 3 levels. So the first one is with our clients. And I think we've all got to get better at that. At least a lot of my clients have had to get better at that, right? Having much more intentional conversations, much more direct conversations, much more, what used to be a 10-minute conversation is now a 35, 40-minute conversation around pricing or whatever it is, right? Well, y'all agree, like, it's taken a while, right? And those aren't easy. Getting your buyer to do the right thing, whatever it is. So that's the first level that we all get. The second level is tough conversations with your team members and those around you. One of those conversations right now sounds like, hey, this isn't the easiest market. There's going to be some challenges here. Like, we're taking this hill. I get that this may not be what you signed up for, but here's what it's going to take. Are you in? And I think it's having some of those legit conversations with our team members, with our teams, and acknowledging that there's some tough things about this, but also like giving them the choice. Like, you're either with us and we're going to take this mountain, or you're not. Either one's okay, but let's make a decision, on which way we're going. And then I think the third tough conversation is the one that we're having with ourselves. And that's where one of my favorite questions, I wish I could take credit for it. One of my mentors gave it to me at some point. I wish I could remember who, so I give him credit. What am I pretending not to know? What am I pretending not to know? I love that question. What am I pretending not to know? Am I pretending not to know that my lead generation efforts are not enough to get me where I'm going? Am I pretending not to know that my schedule isn't in alignment with where I say I want to go? Am I pretending that some of my relationships are maybe better or more valuable than they actually are? Am I pretending not to know that I might need some help, right? And maybe it's time to ask for some help. So I think, what am I pretending not to know is a great conversation to have with ourselves. So I think there's those 3 levels. Like clients, we get that one with our team members, and then what's the conversation I might be avoiding with myself, and then having that. And I think there's last two things that are messing us up, or it can mess us up, is and this is an interesting one. And Peggy, you probably see this one all the time. People staying in confusion, as if I did know what to do, I would totally do that, right? Like how many people,
Mhm.
and we see this at Build and everything else, right? Like I just don't know how to recruit. It's like, do you not know how, or do you just not want to do it? Right? Like,
Right.
like, yes, we can all get better, but it's like, do I not know how to lead generate, or am I just not really wanting to pick up the phone? Do I not know how to have tough conversations, or do I just not want to read the book on how to have tough conversations? So I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of people right now that are staying in confusion because if I knew what to do and I wasn't doing it, I would be a bad person. But if I'm confused and I just don't know what to do yet, it's a very fancy way of letting ourselves off the hook. So I think
Right.
there's a lot of people that are staying in this kind of a false state of confusion when really there's some avoidance and some letting off the hook
Mhm.
that's going on there. And then I think the last one, this one's a little weird. But welcome. This was why it took me 4 years for the weird call. Right. Pretending to be content. And I think there's some people
Mm.
right now that are pretending to be. I love if you are happy where you are and you have a beautiful experience. I love that. But I think there's people that are pretending to be content. Um, because they're not maybe having some of the conversation with themselves about where they want to go. They're pretending to be content because they just don't know how to make more, do more, have better relationships. So am I pretending to be content, or am I actually thrilled where I am? And then the last one's easy. The last way to really measure you're up is try to do it all on your own. It's the hardest dumbest way to do it is on your own. And we all our superpowers, we're willing to do it on our own. It's also the thing that can mess us up if we're not careful. So
Right.
those are my three. Yeah.
So, okay, guys, this is a great opportunity. He brings so much knowledge and everything. Do you have questions? Let's open it up. Let's just get out there and, what do you see him? How are you feeling? We're a nice intimate group today. How many of us are pretending? Come on, who wants to be? Oh, Dee Dee, I just see you sit up in that chair there.
I saw that too.
Dee Dee's
Uh,
choosing happy. Hi, Dee Dee.
Yes. Hi, good morning.
I'm right down
I
the
just,
I'm down the street from you, Dee Dee.
are you really?
I'm at the Jersey Shore. We'll talk later.
Oh my goodness. Well, how
Yeah.
nice. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have the chat.
Yep.
Thank you for being on here. And I joined in a little late, so I missed a little bit of Wayne's chat. And I think I caught on when people are pretending to be content, and I see that a lot as well. And my t-shirt is funny that I wore it today. It's my gym t-shirt. I wear it just to spread some happiness because I see a lot of sadness too. And some people can pretend, some people cannot. You can see it in their face that they're not content or happy or anything. So I just with the things that are going on in this world, and everybody's being affected in different ways, and
Okay. I
I
lost
just
sound. Can you guys hear Dee Dee?
yeah, well, I
Yes,
can
we
hear her.
can.
Okay. I lost sound.
And Dee Dee, it's funny. I have the same thing above my fireplace, a sign that says "Choose happy." It's so funny that
you
you would
can
say that.
choose, right?
Yes,
You can
yes,
not only, maybe some people are pretending, but you can also choose. You can
yeah,
choose to join the sadness and the depression, or you
yep,
can choose to make it a great day, not just a good day, but a
yeah,
great day. And how can you make it a great day? Well, I
yeah,
choose to approach things in a more positive way.
Mhm.
yep,
Instead of being a frowny face, I want to be a smiley
yep,
face and maybe make others smile around me. And
yep,
I think it's a
absolutely.
choice. A lot of things happen in life, good things, bad things, ugly things. It depends on
Yep,
your approach. And I like
yep,
to just think that I can bring on a little happiness to every situation and make it better.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's it. I mean, whether it's pretending a little bit just to not to override what's going on, but just choose to be a little more positive and happy. And it's
Yeah,
funny that I have the shirt
there's
on, Wayne.
it's so good. There's three things I think about, and I was taught this years ago. There's three things that dictate your state,
Mm.
and one is the words you're using. Right. So if I say
Mm.
I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm
Mhm.
tired, I tend to
Yes.
get more tired. If I say I'm enthusiastic, I'm enthusiastic, I'm enthusiastic, I tend to get more enthusiastic. So words. The second one is our focus. right? What am I focused on? Just like you said, if I look for red, I tend to find red things. If I look for blue, I
Right.
tend to find blue things. You know what I mean? How many of you just even looked at the books in my background where I said red and blue? You know what I mean? Right? Right. So, and then the third one is our physical state. So I think about that all the time. Like if I'm having a bad day, and I'm not trying to be rainbows and butterflies, like sometimes we have legitimately bad days, but what are the words I'm using? What am I choosing to focus on? And then sometimes I just need to move my body a little bit, right? Sometimes I need to get up and just go for a walk around the yard, do something, get moving a little bit. But I love having those three. I can change my state almost instantaneously by acknowledging and doing those three things. So good. So good. Yeah.
Love it. Who else has got some comments, questions?
I was gonna say, you
Good
said
morning, Watson.
good morning, Peggy, and good morning, gangs. Greetings from Los Angeles. It's early, and it's beautiful morning, and it's good to start the day with Peggy with a Wake Up Wednesday.
Thank you.
Well, talking about pretending, I remember I got into this business. The first thing probably one of the most profound thing I learned, and all of you learned too, I'm sure, said, fake it till you make it, right?
Mhm.
The whole
Yes.
industry is a phony. I mean, it's like, man, you go into business, you tell your first prospect, listing prospect, look at what I saw. We saw, you said we versus me. You saw the top agent and, try to pat yourself up. And I realized that so much of this industry is it's made of lie, really, or make believe. And
Mm.
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. As from my start of my career, I try my best to avoid all those kind of things. But still, somehow you got to do something to, or else you are just not going to make any business. I know Gene told us to go to open house to visit agent, to get to
Mhm.
know them, to care for them, try to encourage them on. Recently, I've done that. I went to a brand new construction site. There's not a whole lot of construction, new home here in Los Angeles, as you may imagine, right? There was a young, very nice, successful, attractive young lady who got into business. A great, nice lady, a Christian lady too, happens to be. And I found out that she has been an engineer, an attorney, and she's so gung ho. It's like I think first year in the business, she's like, "Man, I'm gonna take down the industry." I'm like, "Wow, lady, if you could try not to learn from the 80% or the 90% of the industry." And she got all insulted. They said, "Oh, what are they talking about? Everybody I know in my company, they are great. My manager, wow, I can't wait to be like them." I'm like, "Lady, you're an attorney. You're an engineer. You are so accomplished. You got such a bright future ahead. If you just know how to chart your costs, learn from the proper people, and also pick up some good habit. Don't learn all the yucky stuff in the industry. You would do so well." And after a while, she thought about it. She called me back, and she was so touched. She's like, "Wow, thank you, Watson. I mean, I'm gonna really. I mean, this is something we're gonna do, day in and day out, to renew ourselves, to stick with the right
Mhm.
people, learn the good habit, and not to be to pretend, just to be real and go from there." Thank you.
That's great. Who else wants to open up here? Because I
Hey,
love when we just have this conversation. Who's Steve? Hey, how are you?
good morning, Peggy. Good morning, everybody
Good
from
morning.
Austin, Texas. I am driving up to a property tour. I'm caffeinated, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed, and I love being on these calls. It's been a minute since I've been on one of these calls, but it's nice to see everybody's smiling face. I just wanted to share to the other gentleman's earlier point. I mean, we have a choice every day when we wake up, right, guys? So if you've got an
Mhm.
attitude of gratitude, all of a sudden everything shifts. Everything shifts. And so it is absolutely what we choose to focus on that sets up the framework for our days, 1000%. So if we take a second and just think about the things in our lives that are working, how powerful is that? Because we have a choice every minute of every day to focus on the things that aren't working or the things that are. And there are so many things in our lives that are working.
Mhm.
I came to EXP about 15, 16 months ago. Somebody literally held my hand and took me to EXPCon in
Yep.
Miami, and
Yeah.
my whole life has changed. And so, what an
Yeah.
incredible opportunity to surround myself with people like you guys, and just to be poured into and lifted up. And I just am counting my blessings. I'm embarrassed that I didn't move earlier. I was with another brokerage for 19 years, guys, and finally, the teacher appears when the student is ready, I guess. But
Mhm.
in In an awesome mood. Would love to share referrals with y'all. I'm in Austin, Texas, where it's 100 and I think it's 121 degrees right now. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard it's pretty hot.
Oh.
but anyway, yeah. Good morning. Thanks, Peggy.
You know, Steve, I remember when I first met you, it was across the street from the hotel. I think we were sitting in a Mexican restaurant. There were about
Yeah.
15 of us out there. You were with someone who was with EXP. You still weren't coming over.
Yep.
And then what happened? What made that change? Because I think people want to know. I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but were you dating her?
Oh, yeah, it's Amanda, the traveling realtor. A lot of
Hmm.
people know Amanda. She is plugged in like you would not believe. If you don't know her, you should. She's just this ray of light, and she's amazing. Very, very talented. Has a nice downline, and she just does wonderful things for all the people in her life, and certainly the people at EXP. But she literally said, you're a top producing broker in Austin, always, top 2.5%. What are you doing at your current brokerage? What is happening? What isn't happening? I think it's time for you to maybe step into another room, literally and figuratively. And
Hmm.
so big decisions happen at big events, right? And I drank the Kool-Aid. I started crunching the numbers and I removed emotion from my decision. And I just thought, I'm leaving so much money on the table.
Hmm.
And every single closing, I'm paying my broker, and it just didn't make sense. And I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. And I thought, what, I was blissfully ignorant is how it was not, it had nothing to do with my relationship with the leadership at my previous broker, because I love those people. They're wonderful, but unfortunately, it just didn't add up.
Hmm.
And that was probably the biggest component in my decision making was, I've got maybe 15 more years in this business, and I want to, I'm trying to build something that lasts. And so having ownership in the brokerage that I'm helping to build really resonated with me. I thought, you know what, this is incredible. I get to attract like-minded people who want to do the things that I'm doing, who I can learn from. And I have felt more love at this brokerage in just about a year and a half than I ever did at my previous brokerage. Everybody wants to see all of us be successful. And if you have a question, if there's an area where you're lacking, or there's something that you'd like to do, whether it's agent attraction or hosting an event, there's someone here who will step up and say, hey, Steve, we'd love to have you on call. We'd love it if you hosted this. Jesse Zagorski in San Diego, he says, every time we're on these calls, you have so much to say, Steve, and so much to contribute. We're going to give you a half hour every other Tuesday on my platform, which is, I mean, that's just one example. And
Hmm.
Brian Ellington says, "Hey, Steve, we've got to get you on the on EXP University. You can teach people about farming," which I've done a bunch of podcasts on farming. Um, so for those of you who don't know, I've been very successful at farming a community in Rocky Creek. If you'd like any information about that, I would be more than happy to share. A lot of agents don't farm. It's low-hanging fruit if you're consistent with it. And I've got the whole system, and I'd be happy to share it with y'all. So um, yeah, and my
So,
my
Steve, maybe you could
Instagram is just,
share with us one Wednesday because I'll
I would love.
DM you whatever later because I'm going to do a panel, I think, next week on different things. But, again, Wayne, it goes back to what do we talk about? Getting in the right rooms, having your
Yep.
mindset. How many years
Yep.
did you say you were at your other brokerage? 19?
19 years. Yes, 19 years. And you know what? Here's the thing, guys, real quickly. No one took the time, and this is agent attraction stuff. No one took the time to contact me to say, have you heard of
Yeah.
EXP? Not in a salesy four-letter word recruiting way, but just to say, hey, I don't want to recruit you. I want to go to coffee with you or take you to lunch. Are you familiar with EXP? And I wasn't.
Yeah.
And so that actually is the inspiration. My 81-year-old dad recently, about a month ago, he says, Steve, you should be making 10 calls a day. And I love my dad so much. He took the time to put this whole thing in Claude. And sure enough, if you make 10 calls per day, and guys, we have a list of agents that we can reach out to if you actually take time to think about it. You can come up with a fast attract list. So I came up with the list, And I've been making 10 calls a day for the last 2.5 weeks, and it has been amazing the conversations that I've had with no particular agenda either, guys. You got to get out of your own way. Hey, Peggy,
Mhm.
how are you? How's business? It's been slow in Austin. I'm just calling to say hi. It looks like you're really successful where you are in Florida, wherever you are. How's your business been this year? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called, Steve. It's been slow. It's been great. Whatever. People want to be talked to. So
They do.
it's
And I
pretty
know that you
powerful.
guys, if you have someone that's with another company that's been there forever, get Steve on a call, right? Get Wayne on a call, get any of us. That third party endorsement call is amazing. So, Steve, we're so glad you jumped on the call. Thank you.
Steve, what's your last name?
It's Robertson, Robertson. You can find me on Instagram at Steve Sells Austin. I'm an open book, guys. I would love to chat with any of you.
Cool. We love it. Wayne, I want to go back to you. So, you coach a lot of people. What are you hearing? What's the mindset right now? What are you talking to with I'm sure there's some top producers who are a little bit frustrated, but the people who are doing it at a really high level, let's really get into mindset in this market. Mindset
Yeah.
in the market. I kind of like the way that sounds. So what
Yeah.
are you
So
seeing
a
out
good thought.
there?
So I think that what I know, a couple things. One is there's and we talked about this. There's two kinds of mindsets: people that are resisting the market or people that are loving this market. And I think the people that are loving this market are acknowledging it for what it is, and they're only working with buyers and sellers that get it. And here's what I mean by that. And this is, I think, the most painful thing. A potential buyer and a seller 3 5 years ago is not a potential buyer or seller right now. So I would challenge everyone, look at your list, look at the 5, 10, 20 people you're working with, and ask yourself, who is a real buyer, who is a real seller, right? Are they ready, willing, and able? And there's a lot of people right now that are ready and they're able, but they're unwilling. They're not willing to, drop the price. They're not willing to make the aggressive offer. They're not willing. So I challenge each of you to go back to your list and go, who are my ready, willing, and able people, and then let go of the others, right? You might have some C people or some unicorn hunters, right? You can still love them. Just put them somewhere in a special place where you check it on once a month and release them from your mind. Because there's too many people on a team, not a team, whatever it is, that go, oh, I have 15 buyers. And I go, I love you, but if we run them through this thing, you have 2 buyers, right? And that's okay, but let's mentally release the 13 that are waiting for the unicorn, Kinder Surprise moment. And let's go out and let's find more that are ready, willing, and able. So you all get that. I'm just here to remind you of that. That's nothing new to anybody. I think it's just good to go back to and do an audit. Who am I hallucinating is more of a buyer or seller right now than they actually are, right? A lot of my clients are not taking that listing right now, right? They're saying no to every 5 listings or whatever it is because the sellers are not willing to do what it takes to be a ready, willing, and able seller in this market. Great people, just not, and they go, I'm not writing a $3,000-$4,000 marketing time check to put this on the market to just have it sit there. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And then the other big thing right now is this. I'm not saying anything you don't know. I get passionate, so I want to remind you.
Yep.
Build the crap out of your CRM right now. This is your time to go crush a farm, right? Go nail the thing for the next 12, 24 months. And then it's going to take off. This is the time to add people to your database aggressively right now, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of realtors right now out there that are very quiet right now because they don't know what to say, right? They've got tired of saying like date the rate, buy that. They got tired of the two bumper stickers they had to say, and they don't know what to say anymore. So they're all quiet. They're all hiding. This is your time to take massive, massive market share. Right. So get with Steve on a farm, get on social media, start putting something out every single day. Go to, askthepublic.com and say, what are sellers asking right now? Answer a question every single day. Build your database incredibly aggressively right now. That would be my biggest advice to everybody.
So, okay, what was that again? Ask the
So
people. Tell us about this.
I think it's askthepublic.com. You can go ask ChatGPT.
Right.
But askthepublic.com is where you can go in and go, all right, if I'm a home seller, what are all the questions home sellers are asking right now? If I'm a home buyer, what are all the questions that home buyers are asking right now? And just I would get on social, and every day I would do a short video on, what does escrow mean? Right? What's the worst place I can invest money in? Right? When I'm thinking about selling my home, right? What are the three biggest mistakes buyers make? Like, just grab the MREA off the shelf and just right. Every page has something to talk about. Right? I would get aggressive right now because when everyone else is quiet, they're looking for a leader. They're looking for someone who is excited about the market, who's talking about the market, who's out there. And then the third thing, I'll say this one and then try to get off my soapbox. The third one is get phenomenal at expectations. So right now there are way too many people that are still they're unconsciously setting ridiculous expectations. So unconsciously they're saying, "Oh, this is going to be easy. This is going to be smooth. Work with me. It's going to be fast." Like they're unconsciously saying all these things when the reality is right now a lot of our sellers they have a disease and they need a doctor to come in and help them so they can get their home sold. Right? So stop selling rainbows and butterflies and go like it could take 3 to 6 months. Now, and here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. There's a lot of homes sitting on the market right now. Here's what we're going to do to make sure yours isn't one of them. Can we get on the same page with the game plan? So I think setting really good expectations with especially our sellers right now, it will help you avoid a massive amount of pain.
So I love this. So I'm going to go back to this mindset a little bit because we talk about the mindset has to start with us. And you talked about not taking a listing or not working with a buyer or seller or firing a client. What are the tough questions that we have to ask ourselves first to get us ready to go have those conversations with our buyers or sellers? So how do we get real with ourselves, Wayne? What would you coach me on if I said, I don't know where my head's at. I need a listing. I need a closing. I'm coming from lack. How would you
Yeah.
handle me?
So I think the first thing would be stop practicing on real people and start and go practice on some cadavers. So right, so more role play, more practice, more get with somebody else and go, hey, hey Didi, I'm about to have a tough conversation with the seller. Can I practice that out with you before I actually go do this? So start doing a little bit more role play and practice before we start losing people on the table. That'd be the one thing. The second thing is just check with yourself. My coach years ago, when we had a market that was a little like this, he would actually make me physically write out a $2,000 check every time I took a listing. Just to remind myself, hey, you're about to go spend a lot of time and money on this thing. Are you actually willing to risk this $2,000 check? Like, would you bet that this home is actually going to sell in the next 3 weeks or not? So I think that's part of it. And then I think changing how we look at it, our job is not to make buying, selling experiences the easiest, most fun thing ever. Our job is to help people through a tough thing. It's tough right now, and we've got to see ourselves like the doctor is helping our clients, not just the clown that comes in with rainbows and unicorns. It's
Right.
seeing ourselves in a different light, I think.
Love it. Who's got some questions here? Sherry.
I just want to say thanks, Wayne. One of the things that, as you've been talking about, why people get stuck, I think it's also the words that they choose to use about themselves.
Absolutely.
Like even the word need, when, like Peggy, you were just saying, I need to do this. Like that comes from lacking.
Exactly.
And I think that if people are sitting there and they're stuck and they are blaming, oh, it's the market, or there's so many sellers, or whatever, it's like you really need to reframe it in a way that says, you know what, I'm better than this. I can, I'm great and I can do these things. And I think that's a big thing because I do hear people say negative things, and I'm like, I almost want to smack them. Like, don't say that.
Agree.
Like, don't, right? Because if that's what you're saying about yourself, that's what you're gonna get. So it's like you have to choose the words, like, like your shirt, Dee Dee. Like you have to choose to be happy. And everything that you say about yourself, like we won't say that about other people. Why are you saying it about yourself?
So true.
When you were talking about that, Wayne, it just struck me because I hear it all the time. Somebody will say, like, I might be in, there's always realtors everywhere I go, and I might be in a room and somebody will say, how's the market? It's the number one question that we get asked. and you'll always get the Eeyore, like oh, well, the market, it's horrible and the rates and or even buyers who are like, we're waiting for the next election and
Yeah.
everything's going to change. It's like change the words that you're saying to yourself and about yourself, and I think everything else will follow, truly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Change the way you look
Absolutely.
at things and things around you change, right, Wayne?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Those bold laws. We may not be with that company anymore, but those bold laws.
They're timeless. They are timeless. You can find every single one in the Bible if you go looking for them. So
You absolutely will. So Sherry, I'm so glad you said that. And I want to say to some agents sometime, and I don't think this is going to apply to any of you, but some days go back to bed. I mean, your mindset is just like, we don't want to be around you. We don't want to, it's really difficult. And how you show up in your home and everywhere else is how you're going to show up there.
yeah. And
And
it's not easy, right? Like I think maybe Steve, you referenced it or someone did, but like there's that verse in the Bible that talks about renewing your mind every morning. And I
It's
think that we have
Romans.
to
Yeah.
I think we have to do it. I think every morning it's like, all right, I'm gonna drive this boat today. And it goes like listen to something positive, write down the three things you're grateful for, move your body a little bit. Like most people go, oh, I hope I feel good today. It's like throw that out the window. What's the three or four things I'm going to do every morning that almost guarantee I'm in a great state, that almost bulletproof me to go into the day? And it doesn't need to be 48 things. It's like pick like one, pick three, pick four, and start going through this and go like, man, I do these three things every morning, and I'm almost guaranteed to be in the state that I choose to take on today. But it's not by accident. I'm like, you got to do that every morning. You got to renew your mind. You got to remind yourself who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm loved. I'm powerful. I'm resourceful. I'm whole. I'm happy. Like, you got to remind yourself every single day. And it's a process.
I love that.
Love it.
Let's see, who's got a routine? Does anybody have a routine that they do every morning that they want to share? Stacia, you're driving. What have you got going, girl?
Okay, yes, I do. I have an awesome routine. I love it. So I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I don't start working until like 8, but I need that time. So I wake up, I get in my word immediately, first thing. And then I walk my dog. So I'm moving. I do that for about an hour. And I work out and then I meditate and then I take my shower and like all of that, and it sets me right. If I don't do that in the morning, I think that I would not be good for anyone. But I've been doing that now for a couple of years and it has changed my life.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Do you remember at the retreat? I don't know if it was Austin or who it was, but she had us go outside every morning and we were doing the happy cell
Yeah.
dance.
Yep.
And we went out on the lawn and we're at the lake house and we're all standing out on the lawn, jumping up and down, waking up ourselves. And at first we were kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of hokey or whatever.
This is
But by
weird.
day
Yeah.
3 or 4 at the retreat, I mean, we were just doing this happy dance with ourselves and our bodies and jumping up and down. It made such a difference. And I call it
Yes.
shake it up.
Yes.
Just, get it up there, shake it up, shake it off. The other thing is too that I want to talk about is Pam, I'm going to kind of go to you. Pam and I were coaching a couple of years ago. And when we first started coaching, I did this kind of needs analysis and we had some tough conversations, but you got your family engaged. It was like I really encouraged you to sit down and have a mindset conversation with your husband who was traveling, with your kids, everything. How did that change? Because you got your head in the game and then you brought your family in. Can you share with that just a little? I don't want to get too.
Yes. So for any of you who don't know, which most people on here probably do, but Peggy should come with a warning sign or something that difficult conversations will happen. It's not up to you. She's in control of that. But no, I'm so grateful for that time that we spent together and for those conversations, because it literally changed like my perspective of myself first. And once I did that, it shifted my perspective of the world around me and the people around me. And yeah, my family, even like my whole family benefited from it because we're close. We've always been a very close family, but just I guess allowing myself to have conversations I wasn't having because I'm very much like a perfectionist, take everything on myself type of or I was back then, not anymore so much. But just knowing that like it's okay to not have it all figured out and to need to rely on my family and my friends and to go to them and have those conversations. And then finding that, you'll find that those people need it just as much as you do. And by you opening that up to them, it gives them permission to do the same thing. And it's really great. It's been fantastic.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're back on today. And it's kind of like, it's what you're talking about, being a hero. You don't have to be a hero. You
Yeah.
don't have to be a hero every day to everyone. It's okay
Well,
to
and
ask for help.
thank God. I think God's timing in everything is just a miraculous thing that I can never wrap my mind around. But because of that time that we spent together, the last year and a half of my life has been absolutely insane. And the old me would have just absolutely brutally beat myself down because I have had to put a lot of things on the back burner. I'm starting completely from scratch in my business. And that would have been something that just annihilated me back then because I would have been so, I guess, judgmental towards myself about allowing that to happen, coming from such a successful place to where I am now, restarting everything. But because I did that work with Peggy and because I have the mindset and the perspective I do now. And honestly, a deeper trust and relationship with God and his timing in my life. I've been able to pick out the gratitude in this time and what it's done for me, taking this time off and how it's allowed me to really get a clear view of what I want now for my business and where it's going to go and how it's going to fit into my life rather than run my life. And so I'm honestly grateful and I couldn't be more excited about diving back in and having
so
the
glad.
perspective I have now.
And you're starting over. You moved from Texas, where you had a huge successful business, to Florida. And it's like, okay, I can do this. Everything that you learned, your farming, your this, your that, your conversations, you can do it, guys. It's when you tell yourself you can't do it. 11 years ago, right after my husband died, I got an opportunity to go to California, open up the the best luxury office in the world for Keller Williams in Laguna Beach. Are you kidding me? I knew no one, absolutely no one. And there were a lot of people that were around me that said, "What do you mean you're going to move to California? You don't know anybody." I had all these naysayers telling me no. And I had to say, okay, I'm not letting anybody rescue me. I don't need to be rescued, right, Wayne? At that point in your life, you don't need to be rescued. You got to listen to your gut. And I just went out and I did it. And I know that every single person can go out and do it. And here I am, right, Sherry, reinventing myself again in Cape Coral. I've moved to Cape Coral. We're starting a caravan, guys. Nobody is doing any broker previews or pitch in Cape Coral. And I was so tired of saying, how come they don't do it? How come they don't do it? Finally, Sherry and I said, freaking A, we are just going to do it. And it's the conversations that we're having with ourselves to say, yes, we can, and then getting out and having relationships. So it's all about what you're talking about, Wayne, on where your mindset is, what you're doing. You got this. Listen to your gut. Definitely, listen to your gut and reframe things. So important to reframe everything. So, all right, who else? Let's see. We got 10 more minutes. Open it up. Who wants to
Peggy, can I?
Peggy, one
Go ahead.
go? Who jumped in?
One thing I just wanted to share super fast. We've got to reframe things, guys. In this market right now, hundreds of thousands of agents have left the industry, so
Mm-hmm.
that creates an incredible opportunity for the 8 to 10% of us who are doing 90% of the deals. So it's just all how you look at it. It's not doom and gloom. There's an incredible
Right.
opportunity that's happening right now in the market for those of us who still have the pleasure of helping people buy and sell real estate. they People are looking for leadership right now, so it's an incredible time to grow your business.
Love it.
Food for thought.
Love it. Thank you, Steve. Dee Dee, what were you going to say?
No, what I was going to piggyback on what you said about, instead of looking at things negatively and listening to people that are naysayers, Gene himself, excuse me, Gene himself, and I learned from what he says is that if anybody approaches him with negative things, he just kind of turns around and leaves. He's like the
Trust me.
iconic example of if negativity comes to you, just turn the other way and say, it's not for me, it's not my vibe. I want
Listen,
to look at positive things,
you're
positive.
right. I've learned that the hard way. I mean, I lived with Gene and Susan for a year, and he's even worse now. If you bitch about anything, he's like, nope, go away. And he's done that to Brent. He's done it to me. It's just nope. Or he will literally take his coffee and walk out. One time he flicked all the lights on us at night. It was like, stop the conversation. So we were in Puerto Rico and he starts flicking the lights. Think about the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Are you allowing that negative energy? Eva, I can see you out. You're sitting right out through the slider here on her deck. So you're smiling. What are you thinking, Eva? You're quiet today.
I love that Gene does that, and it's such a great reminder to me to be that and to do that because it's so often that you get sucked in to a conversation that is all consuming. I was going to say earlier, and maybe it fits in now. I can't remember who it is that says this, but it's just choose the better feeling thought. And it doesn't have to feel a lot better. It just has to
Hmm.
be the next better feeling thought because, it's easy to say, oh, be positive, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in those moments, sometimes it's hard to kind of climb out. But if you choose the better feeling thought, no matter how much better it is, then you continue down that path.
I
So
love
that's
that.
that's what I was kind of thinking while you guys were chatting about that.
I love that. Thank you. Let's see. Who else? Come on. Oh, come on. We're never quiet. This is crazy. I know you guys are all like going. All right, Annie,
I
put in
oh,
the chat, please, where they can watch the replay on this, because I think there's some really good nuggets. We want you all to subscribe to our Wake Up Wednesday YouTube channel. Wayne, what do
Peggy, can I ask Wayne a quick question?
yeah, that's what we want.
Because the question of what would make it a 10? That was a big, bold coaching question, and I hear it still today. And I find that even I struggle with answering that question, but many people that
Mm.
I've asked it also struggle. What tips do you have to kind of help people unlock the answer to that?
Love that.
So give me, I'm not super familiar with that. So what do you mean by make it a 10?
Oh, somebody say on a scale of 1 to 10, and how good is your business today? And if I say
Uh,
7, and you would say,
what
or
would
or
make
if
it
I
a 10?
said
Yeah.
9, you would say, what would make it a 10?
Yeah.
I,
I'll,
I
I'll I'll give you a totally different perspective on it that you may appreciate or not. Um, I used to think that there were two ways to live. I either live complacently or I consistently beat myself up for not being where I want to go. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be complacent. So I just lived over here and this like beat myself up all day long, every day. Could I have done better? Absolutely. Right. Just beat the crap out of Wayne every day was kind of the name of the game. Right. It like, hey, I take responsibility for my life, but it was like, I was really just beating myself up all the time. Right. But I was like, well, I'm not going to be complacent. Like, that's not cool. What I've learned is that there's a third beautiful place that I can live. And the third beautiful place is I can be excited for today, for tomorrow, but I can be really grateful for where I am in this moment. So for me, it's like I am so thrilled for where I am right now. I'm excited tomorrow. I better be a little better tomorrow than I was today, or what was the point, right? But it's how do I live in this beautiful state of right now? Um, and excited about tomorrow, but not living in tomorrow. Does that make sense? So for me, it's doing a review of like, what did I do great? What did I not do great? What will I do different tomorrow? Right? Like, and having a better reflection questions and things like that, and more effective reflection was huge for me. But I literally have a dash on my hand, tattooed on my hand, which is a little aggressive. But this dash reminds me of it's like a gravestone, right? The day I was born, the day I'm gonna die, and I look at this dash to remind me to just be here in the present. If there's something I want to improve on, cool, get specific. What I realized is I lived a lot of my life in generality. It was like I need to be better tomorrow. I need to do better tomorrow. But it was all vague. It was unclear. It was just beat Wayne up all day long, every day kind of thing. So now if there's something I need to improve, it's like okay, what specifically do I want to get better at this kind of conversation? Cool. What can I do? Okay, cool. I'm going to put that on my schedule to go practice that conversation. So getting out of this vague generality of just beating myself up and into, I can have some specific things, but how do I live in the moment? How do I give gratitude for today, but not in a complacent way, but in a incredibly grateful, excited for tomorrow, kind of way. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I like that. It's really living in the now. And with my high I personality, high D, they conflict all the time. If you guys don't know about that, you got to learn the lit disc. But I battle with myself because I get bored. And when I get bored, I do something, I'm bored, and then I'm living in the future, but I'm not seeing what's going on right here. So I don't know if I get a tattoo, but that's a really good.
We can do it. Come on, Peggy. Come on down. Well, next time we see each other, we're going to get tattoos.
Oh
There we
shit.
go.
I
There
don't
you go.
know about that one.
I'll fly in. You, me, Eva, we'll go get it. We'll grab Dee Dee. We'll make a whole trip of it. Steven will fly down. We'll make it happen.
You can come to the shore too, Wayne.
There
Yeah.
you go. But I think the biggest thing for you, Eva, is if there's something you want to improve on, cool. Get specific about it. Decide what that journey is going to look like. Is it realistic? Does it make sense? Do I have a plan? And then step into it. But I think a lot of us are just beating ourselves up because that what would make it a 10 is unclear or unreal. I'd love to be great at golf. It's not going to happen right now. I've got 5 kids. I got a lot going on. I'm interested in golf. I'm not committed to golf. So
Mhm.
getting clear on those things can help as well.
I love it. Okay, got 3 minutes, guys. Who else got a question?
I just want to piggyback on that real quick because that really resonates with me. And the shift that I've made in my life over the last couple of years is like focusing more on enjoying and having gratitude for the journey that you're on more so than the destination. Because if you're so focused on the destination, you can't enjoy today,
Hmm.
because you're not going to be satisfied with today because you're not where you think you want to be. You're not at that destination yet. But
Yeah.
if you can shift to the gratitude of what you're doing today, like I struggled with this yesterday. I had to focus because I'm actually really sick right now. And I got 2 new agents on my team yesterday because
Wow.
instead of just taking that sick day, we pivoted, we zoomed, we made it happen anyways. And so I can today wake up and be grateful for the technology, for the flexibility, for how I showed up the best way that I can, even though it wasn't perfect, and focusing on those things as opposed to what that 10 might look like. I can honestly sit here and say, I don't want to be at a 10 because if I'm at a 10, then that means that I have nowhere else to go. And I think as long as I'm here on this earth and as long as there are people out there that I can serve, I can keep getting better. And if I'm
Mhm.
at that 10, I'm not growing anymore. And I don't really want that.
That's an interesting perspective to look at it that way too. I love it. Okay, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Wayne, what are some, I mean, this was great. I love the fast-paced conversation. What's one thing you want us to know about you that you haven't told us already or that you don't
Ah,
tell anybody?
man. It's most of it's out there. I love what I get to do. My love
Yeah.
language is referral. So if you know somebody that's not happy with their journey or is hitting their head against the wall or hitting that ceiling, I love working with people that are in the messy middle, right? They're raising their kids, they're taking care of their parents, they're trying to grow their business, right? They're attempting to do it all. I love working with those people, helping them get from 6 figures to 7 figures, and love the journey along the way. So it kind of reminds me what something Steve said earlier today. It's like, if he can love, we all love winning the game, right? We love when the agent says, yes, I'm coming, right? But if you can enjoy playing the game as much as you enjoy just winning the game, then you have really won the game. So if you can fall in love with making the calls because I'm going to help somebody, if you can fall in love with the process, you can fall in love with that part of it, then you've already won the game. And I think if you can figure out how to enjoy playing it as much as you enjoy winning, and then you've won.
I love it. Thank you, Wayne. We'd love to have you back. We don't have to wait 4 years.
Episode 800, y'all. I'm coming for you. Episode 800. I will absolutely be. No, I would love to come back. You are amazing. I love you all very much, and I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to our tattoos,
Thank you.
Peggy.
Oh gosh, I'm in trouble now. All right, we'll have to tell Nicole. No, don't tell Nicole about that. She'll make me do it. All right, guys. Love you all. See you next week and make it a great
Peggy,
week.
Thank you.
enjoy the
Thank you.
shore.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Peggy.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Wayne.
Bye,
Thanks.
all.
Peggy. Enjoy the shore, Peggy.
I'm gonna. I can't believe I'm here.
Beautiful weather. Perfect day.
Today's gorgeous. We'll see you guys later.
Bye,
Hey,
guys.
Steve, get a
Bye,
hold of
Wayne.
me.
I
I want
have
to talk
to.
to you
I
about
must.
doing farming. Okay. Thanks,
Absolutely.
guys.
Oh,
Bye.
bye.